Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. Today I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to cut a big watermelon. Sometimes it's kind of intimidating, it's such a big old rind and everything, but I'm going to show you there's no need to be afraid. First of all, let's get started by washing the outside of the melon. It seems kind of funny to do this, but the reason you do this is to wash off anything that might be on the outside, any bacteria, pesticides, or dirt that just might be on the outside of the melon, because when you take your knife and you cut through the melon, you're pulling whatever is on the outside of that melon through to the meat on the inside. Okay, now first of all, starting with a sharp knife, and I can't overemphasize the value of a good knife. If you don't have a whole set, one good big one will work. I use this same knife for cutting watermelons or tomatoes, and it works beautifully for both. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make the first cut end for end, and you can look for the stem. Make it end for end right down through the middle. Cut it in half. Then your second cut, you're going to cut each of those halves in half. So that'll be 2 more cuts. So now you have 4 quarters here. And even just getting it to this point where you're just seeing the 4 quarters, it's way more manageable looking. Okay, now you're going to take your knife and you're going to simply slide it along that rind. It's easy to cut. All along the rind, the full length, and you're going to flip it around and do the same on the other side of it so that you're loosening the meat of the melon. Sometimes I have to take my hand and kind of rock it back and forth and be sure I've got it completely loose. But I leave the meat sitting in the melon rind. Okay, next step, we're going to take one long center cut down the length of the meat, taking it all the way down into the rind, cutting all the way through. One long cut. Next, we're going to take 2 cuts, one on either side of that big center cut, again, all the way through down to the rind. Now you're going to turn it and you're going to cut crosswise. I use about 1-inch cuts, as you can see here. You can actually make them smaller, and you can make more cuts on the lengthwise cuts as well if you want your pieces smaller. I think this is a nice size. They're nice and big, easy to handle. People can pick them up with their fingers, or they can use a fork, whatever they choose. It's just easy to eat. Okay, now you pick up your whole big old rind now and just pour it into your bowl. I've got a 4-quart Tupperware bowl. It's not fancy, but it works. And I have a cover. So this size fit 3/4 of a large melon. If you have a larger melon, you might need to use a larger bowl. Or if you're going to take it somewhere and you want to serve it and make it pretty, just use a fancier bowl. Voila, here it is, beautiful, ready to serve. If you have any left over, in this case I had a 1/4 left over, I just covered it tightly in plastic wrap, and it will keep up 4 to 5 days. Now, the part of the bowl of the melon that I already have cut up, as we use it, I will drain off any juice that is drawn and reduce it down into smaller bowls, and that also will keep 4 to 5 days in the fridge. Here's your big pieces of rind, easy to discard. And one thing, a big bowl of melon is a welcome addition to any meal, especially if you just want to even take a dish somewhere. It's always welcomed, and it's a nice healthy treat. So thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. It's been fun.